Hello and happy Monday. I hope you like my little backdrop. How is your Monday going? I needed to use a little backdrop today because it's a touch chaos and be calm in the chaos. So, welcome to Monday Night Paws. Let's get this thing started properly. Welcome to Monday Night Paws. It's your opportunity to work on your business rather than in your business. I'm your host, Elizabeth Hack. I'm an expert speaker, coach, facilitator, and I've been helping canine businesses grow, launch, and support more dogs all around the world for the last decade. I'm a qualified dog groomer, dog trainer myself, and I've just come back from crafts. Yes! It was so good. I had my amazing crafts nails that I spoke about last week, if you heard last week's Monday Night Pause, and it was phenomenal. I took my cousin Mish with me, and she has a big love for a dog influencer called Good Boy Ollie. He's a Chocky Lab, and his younger brother, is called Tato, and we saw them. The moment we walked through the first hall doors, she spotted them and was completely starstruck. So the first lesson out of the gate was we set an intention for the day. I had 2 exhibition stands that I needed to get to see people, and she really wanted to meet Good Boy Ollie because she'd been watching him on socials and could see that he was at crafts. And we also wanted to get to the main arena. So we set those intentions before we got there, and straight through the gate, we saw Good Boy Ollie, and my cousin was absolutely starstruck. She was like shaking. She said, "I don't think I've been so starstruck meeting an actual celebrity." And she actually was so starstruck that she wasn't bold enough to ask the owner if she could go over and say hi and get some photos. She was so starstruck that she couldn't speak to the owner and say, "Is it okay if I please say hi to your dogs and get a photo?" So, as I am, and how she normally is, I was bold and I just said, "I'm just really sorry. Is it please possible if?" And she was wonderful. She must have had hundreds, if not thousands, of people stopping her while she was at crafts, and she was so generous. And yeah, just a wonderful human being and a very clever content creator too. So if you want ideas for your business, then yeah, maybe have a look at Good Boy Ollie to see kind of all the clever creations that she makes featuring her dogs. So it's about being bold and asking those questions when you need to ask them too. Talking of being bold as well, we were very lucky that a good friend of ours gave us the bands for crafts because they were on a stand. So that was one of the stands I needed to go over and say hi to. So we popped in, said hi to them. They were super busy. They absolutely smashed it at crafts this weekend. And then we went to go to the main arena, and there was a police dog demonstration on that Mish really wanted to see. And it was an hour wait to even get into the arena because you have to wait for people to leave to be able to let loads of people in. And actually, the event coordinator's there. As somebody that has been an event coordinator, I was really impressed. It was a slick operation, and they just kind of funneled everyone in at the same time. And it was like literally hundreds of people in, hundreds of people out at the same time. But we started queuing it, and I thought, I'm just going to ask the question. And so I grabbed one of the events team and I said, "We've got this coloured band. I'm just wondering, does that give us that fast track entry?" And they were like, "Yeah, absolutely. Come with me." And so we skipped an hour's worth of queuing due to a great connection that I had, which is another topic I want to talk about tonight, plus asking the bold questions. We could have just stood there and gone, "Oh, okay, like this is what we're doing for the next hour to get into the arena," and we would have missed the police dog demo. Or instead, I can just politely ask the question. Like, what did I have to lose in that moment? I was polite, I was courteous, I was respectful, and I just asked the question. And the answer was yes. And then we got funneled through straight to the front, straight on in within 5 minutes. So sometimes you just need to pop your ego aside and ask the question. And I kind of like the VIP treatment, so it's again worth asking. Worth asking the question to get that treatment if you like. I know I'm cheeky. And my cousin was like, "I literally love you." Like that like within 10 minutes of arriving at Crufts, I was her hero. Yeah, so then we're in the main arena. We saw incredible displays. Police dog, bite work. I mean, I would definitely stay still if one of those police dogs were barking in my face. They were impressive. Then we saw some hill work to music. Absolutely phenomenal. Like just from a training aspect, like how the hours they must have put into those dogs to have taught them a routine and to deliver it at the standard that we saw it was phenomenal. I don't know how they were marking it. Because if it was dancing on ice or Strictly Come Dancing, I'm sure they would have all got tens. Yeah, it was amazing. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm ever so blessed that anyone that was performing in that listened to this. My absolute kudos to you. You are incredible. And then we saw the agility. Same again, just the level of training and the pace you have to run with your dog. Very impressive. Ending with flyball. Oh my goodness, flyball was phenomenal. To see it in person was just next level. I've seen it before. I've been to CrossFit quite a few times, but yeah, the atmosphere was electric. And I think in previous years, I haven't ever got to crafts, looked at the events that were happening in the day in the main arena and then planned my day around it. Like we actually spent like 4 hours in the main arena, which was actually brilliant because I didn't want to spend a load of money. I had those two stands I needed to get to. I wanted to network, I wanted to connect, but also like it's just a phenomenal experience. And it's another indicator to say that we are in the right industry right now. Like the fact that the Birmingham NEC can be sold out. It was sold out on Saturday, and I think it was Saturday and Sunday for dogs. Like, how great is it that we're in the dog industry when there's an event that big that happens every year? And that's not the only event either. There's multiple events that happen all around the year, all around the country, all around the world, and people travel to get to Birmingham NEC for crafts. So, yeah, it just really, if you're ever wondering whether there's enough dogs in the world for us to all to serve, go to NEC. And no, not all the owners can bring their dogs. Only dogs that are invited get to go. So, all of those people through those doors either love dogs, own dogs, have got somebody that knows somebody with a dog that you can serve and help. So whenever you've got the small pie syndrome, or you're worried about your competition or anything like that, look at those numbers from Crufts. There's all those dogs in the world. There's all those owners that are willing and able to spend on their dogs. So your service is absolutely needed. Got out of the main arena. We'd seen the first stand that I needed to get to. Second stand was my dog training association of pet dog trainers. And I've also been shadowing with the incredible Adam Baxter. So I wanted to get over there, say hi to the other instructors that I've never met in person because I did the online version because I only had a 3-week-old baby when I signed up to my course. And as I'm walking towards this stand, they're in hall 5. So we started in hall 1, we went to the main arena, came out and went through 2, through 3, 4, and then got to 5. And we stopped on the way, of course, because we got sidetracked by certain things. Of which, Gym Jump, you are my heroes. I'm not sponsored by them. I could be. They've just done an all-in-one jumpsuit for grooming, and it's got purple paws on the sleeve, and it's stunning. And I wore it today I obviously bought one, and I wore it today straight after the show, and it's awesome. It's so good because like the trousers before, like you used to have to hike them up during your groom, and the tunics kind of get stuck up here. If you've got your arms up, you got to huck them down, pulling that up, pulling that down, but an all in one. It was fab, absolutely fab. So yeah, we bought a few items as I went round. But as I approached the APDT's stand, I heard Lizzie, and I was like, "What?" And out of literally opposite one another is one person in my world who has had a major influence on my education experience, life growth. The wonderful Belinda. I don't know your surname, Belinda. I probably know it on Facebook. I'm not gonna look at my phone and have a look. But Belinda's from the Four Paws Grooming Academy. So she told me she's got 3 schools now. I think there's soon to be 4. And she and I used to work together. I was her assistant in Newbury Groom Room, Pets at Home back in the day. And then I went across to the Farnborough Groom Room and became salon manager. And we had like number one, number two salons out of the whole 80 odd salons at that time. Pets at Home have, I think they've got like nearly 200 now. But there was a touch of a rivalry there because it was like, she had the biggest salon and she was number one, and it's like, can I get to you? And one day our targets got put up on us, and I was like, oh my God, like this is like a lot of pressure for my team. I was thinking about the repercussion that meant on like dogs per day, because I am a big advocate for whiteboards and breaking down targets into manageable bite-sized chunks so that you know how many dogs a day that is, or how many dogs a week that you need to cover for that. So yeah, it was like a big change, and my targets have maybe gone up by a third or a half, and hers have doubled. And I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm feeling the pressure. I wonder how Belinda is feeling. So in that moment, I put all qualms aside. There was never any real issues between us. It was just that we were rivals. And I phoned her and I said, well, how do you feel? And she was like, I think it's hectic. And I said, yeah, I agree. Actually, I'm about to take a career break and go to Australia. And she lit up and she was like, Australia, oh my God, Australia's amazing. I had a phenomenal time out there. Come over to my house, I'll show you some pictures, I'll tell you where you should go. And I was like, okay, I'd love that. And so we put my ego aside that day, and I spoke to, I'll call it, yeah, a rival, but it was all, this is all good natured, and just said, and we just talked to each other like humans, and we made that connection. From that one connection, from putting my ego aside and connecting with Belinda, when I got to her house, she told me about an opportunity to work for a company called CFM, Creative Fitness Marketing. And they were my educators into sales and marketing. We ran 6-week launches. We used to help small independent businesses, and you'd physically go in the gym and you'd run the whole campaign from start to finish and help the non-active segment of the community get into exercise. It is where all of my education when it comes to sales and marketing came from. Obviously, I had learnt quite a lot from Belinda from working with her, because she actually trained the CEO of the company. At one point, he was her assistant, and she put me in touch with him, and it just changed the landscape of my experience in Australia. It changed my career stacking. It was, to this day, I've been in awe of Belinda's impact that she's made in my life. It's provided me all the opportunity to be able to serve and help different dog businesses, how to help different businesses all around the world in different niches outside of dogs. And yeah, it all kind of started there. So I heard this. So as I approached this stand, I hear, Lizzie, oh my God. And out jumps Belinda. And she just got a new poodle. And she's named him after the boss, after the CEO, Liam from CFM. So she said, there's some people in my life that I meet that I have to name my dogs after, and he's one of them. And he is an incredible boss. He's an incredible man. He kind of spoiled bosses for me when I was working out there. He always had your back. He always made you feel like you were the most important person. Which, if you've got team members right now, imagine they have got signs around their neck to say, "Make me feel important." If you can make your team feel the way that Liam makes everyone feel, you will go far. People don't lead bad teams, they lead bad leaders. And I mean, on that note, there may be other factors that they leave as well. But if there's no outside factors that are bothering them, then could be leadership. We're going off on so many tangents, but I've got so much to tell you tonight. As you can tell, I get really re-energized by going to these massive events. And yeah, so Belinda comes bounding over to me. How are you? What are you doing? Look at my poodle. I named him after Liam. I'm like, oh my goodness. I introduced my cousin to her. And as she's talking to me, my good friend and lecturer and coach and, bit of an idol to me at the moment from a dog training perspective. Adam comes in from the other side, and I was like, whoa, there's like two of my like major worlds combining at once right now. Like I've got my dog grooming world, I've got my dog training world, and like two people that I really respect from both worlds, and we're all like chatting together. Like, it was wild. It was wild. And then once Belinda heard everything that I've been doing with Canine Care Hub and coaching, she then went, right, you need to speak to Fern. And Fern is from iPet Network. Got to speak to the wonderful Fern, and we got to connect and exchange details. And I'm really excited about what opportunity that may come from that way. Any opportunity I have to be able to serve and look after them, it would just be phenomenal. So, isn't it wild? And this is the concept and thoughts about tonight is it could be that one connection that you make that could make a huge impact in your life, in your career, in your personal world, in your financial world, in your romantical world. Like honestly, I don't think like it's crazy the impact of like going to Australia, having had the love acquaintances that I had out there, which then makes me appreciate and worship my wonderful, wonderful fiance who I was best friends with from teenagers. But I wouldn't appreciate him as much as I do now if it wasn't for the rotters that I encountered. But that, yeah, it almost feels like it started with that one connection. It felt like it started with that one phone call. It started with that asking that one question, being bold enough to ask someone a question. So who do you need to ask the question to? Maybe you don't even need to think about it. Maybe next time an opportunity arises, I can be the little voice in your ear saying, be bold, ask the question. Does this band get me anywhere further? Can I please have that photo? Please, may I ask you a question? How are you feeling about this? Put your ego aside and just ask another human being a question with gratitude, with respect, with love. Only good things happen, it feels. If you ask a question, they could just say no. And then as long as you've been kind and polite, no one was hurt. But you could ask the question, they could say yes. And they could be a massive guiding light and have more and it's not you just making that connection with them. It's who is their connections, who they will then be kind enough to share with you because you've been kind and gracious enough to them. Food for thought. Thanks for letting me chew your ear off this Monday night pause. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm Elle Hack. If I can serve you in any way possible, please let me know. Also, a huge thank you to Lindsay Rout, who joined the 4-day advertising summit. We did an exercise together live on the call, and she's going to feature in my book with the transcription of the call. My book editor and I have turned that into like help towards the teaching piece. So if you want me to help you in any way with your business, absolutely. Let's talk, let's connect. I have a book coming out to serve you soon, but I could potentially feature you in it if you want to take the advice, free advice, and implement it and let me know your results. It would be such a pleasure. Anyway, hope you have an absolutely phenomenal week ahead. Be bold, ask the questions, put your ego aside. You never know what connections may come of it. Have a great one. Bye.